Ladies and gentlemen, Binnall of America!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Tim Binnall.
No commercials, no subscriptions, no network, no rules, and at the end of the day, my friends, no comparison. Welcome to another edition of BOA The Revival. Looking forward to this week's program. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's sort of a unique guest in a way. I've known Brad. Do you prefer Brad or Bradley?
I like Bradley.
All right, Bradley. Okay. I've known Bradley Plaisier for years, really, on Twitter. And it's kind of, we would like kind of cross paths. And for people in the know from the Binnall universe, he's got a very Steve Ray energy, which is a compliment. He's got this sort of frenetic, a bit of joie de vivre combined with sort of arcane, esoteric knowledge that he's happy to drop on you, and sort of an appreciation for sort of the strange and unusual in sort of an offbeat way. And we've been chatting really over the last few months. But like I said, I've known him for years. We've been chatting over on Twitter. And actually, he's like, this is not why he's on the show, but for some reason, this was what put him over the top to get him on Binnall America. So he's like, my dad went to college with Dr. Tyler Cokejohn. And I was like, and apparently I sort of made the connection to Tyler. And I'm like, Tyler, we got to vet this again. You know, we got someone claiming to know you. And he's like, no, I know this guy. I know this guy's dad. So I'm like, hey, any son of a friend of Tyler Cokejohn is a friend of mine. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be super laid back, chill conversation. And Bradley makes, and we'll get into this as we go along tonight, but he makes some fantastic, these are fucking awesome t-shirts, folks, that we'll get into it deeper, but like they're old time. I'll give the example because I boosted him last week for one that he actually did like last year or something, but I hadn't seen it. But he makes these t-shirts that are like, this one was, you had to join, whose organization was it?
This was Ivan Sanderson's, also great introduction. That was really nice.
Oh, thank you.
It was Ivan Sanderson's Society for the Investigation of the Unexplained, and it was advertised in Pursuit.
Okay, and this was like in the 70s, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you joined up his group, he would send you this t-shirt. So for all intents and purposes, the fucking t-shirt, it's gone.
There's probably like 200 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows where they are at this point, you know? Yeah. So he recreated this shirt, and he's done that for a whole bunch of different stuff, like MUFON symposiums and different things from back in the day. Really awesome sort of retro paranormal stuff, UFO stuff. And that's at bwp.threadless.com. So check that out. With all that said, welcome to the show, Bradley Plaisier. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, brother.
It's an honor, to be honest. This is great.
So how did you first time guest, bio, background, pretty standard. Who is Bradley Plaisier? How'd you get mixed up in all this? What brought you into the world of the strange?
I live in Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan. I came across a Lauren Coleman book in 5th grade and just wanted the Loch Ness Monster to be my best friend and hang out with me. And just got hooked on it. It's all really, really interesting. Same section of the bookstore as the UFO stuff. So it just came across it tangentially, and I it's kind of it. I mean, it's more complicated than that. I fell out of it for a while because I was playing competitive tennis, and I joined the Army Reserve, and I just got busy going to school, and then dropped out. And that's when I picked it back up again.
There you go. All right. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
30.
Oh, okay. There you go. Nice. So you're still pretty young. This is good.
I like to think so.
Thank you for your service, of course. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, you don't have to say that.
I know. Most people say that when you say that, but it's like, it's kind of like God bless you.
Sure.
You know, it's like, yeah, at least for me. So
it's like, I was talking about this with Emily once, about how, like, if I was ever in public in uniform or something, it was literally like a Pavlovian dog thing where everybody just
I bet, yeah,
felt like they had to tell you thank you for your service when really they're thanking me for like fucking like blasting cigs and playing games on my phone. Like I was trained to be a medical logistics specialist, never once actually did my job.
Right. Well, you did make a post once, and you kind of got some stir or something. But you said like they threw away a bunch of shit. Like,
oh yeah,
I was like blown away by that. But
yeah.
it's like it makes perfect sense. It sounds like so how the way things work. But
there's a lot of waste. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was regarding my the last thing I ever did in the Army was this big war exercise in California, and you're pretending to be a forward operating base, like out in the desert somewhere, and you do those jobs that it's like 7,000 people or something. And
oh, wow.
We were the medical logistics unit. So we had a tent of medical supplies and stuff. And our instructions were to throw it out at the end of the 2 weeks, all of it. And we were talking about starting an eBay store, throwing away our uniforms, taking a bunch of stuff home. But I only took back a couple things, but I still have a couple of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man. Also, the Army doesn't recycle.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
I tried to get a recycling bin at my unit, and it wasn't going to happen.
Jesus.
Oh, well.
All right. So let's talk. I think when we kind of first started chatting recently was with regards, you had some passionate thoughts about the Patterson-Gimlin film. And then I saw that I think this was prior to when we, like earlier this year, because you were on with Emily on Emily's show or something.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the Patterson-Gimlin film is not, all caps, a hoax. So you have passionate feelings about the Patterson-Gimlin film. When we were talking, there was another round of someone who's like, we've killed, I think the whole thing was like, we killed Bigfoot. We've killed Bigfoot. Yeah. Remember that? And it was like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off with that.
All of those people, I think there's the Plastic Plesiosaur podcast. And I listened to like quite a bit of that episode. Is so fucking annoying. It's so smug. They think that it's like grown up to think that it was a hoax, even though all the reasons are fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, I didn't listen to their show, so I can't really speak to that. But I do. To me, it's kind of part of it was like, because the host was like, you were arguing with him, and he was kind of imploring. He's like, "Did you listen to the show? Did you listen to the show?" And it's just like, yeah, I've heard every argument,
right,
for this not being real.
They didn't do any original research. They're just like one of their main citations. The thing they talked about a lot was the episode of Monster Quest.
Oh boy.
Which, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, my take on it, and maybe we get it. I want to see all we go to yours, obviously, but it's but to me, I forget. I don't know if you said it or was in somewhere in sort of that back and forth. It was like the argument's like, this is too good to be true. Everything worked out too perfectly for it to. It's like, so you're saying these people are like the fucking grandmaster hoaxers, where it's like they did it so well that you can't find a fucking hole in this thing.
Right.
And it's like, so because you can't find a whole thing, therefore it has to be fake. It has to be fake because you cannot find a single fucking part of the picture, of the video, of the film that you can be like definitively, all right, that proves it. So it's like, come on, guys.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Like, people, they don't even realize it, but like logic, like critical thinking, just out the fucking window. They literally don't realize it. It makes me absolutely insane. All the debunks of the PGF is just like, boils down to slandering a dead man, pretending Bob Gimlin doesn't exist at all, and bestowing all of these like god tier powers to a man who like made carts for kids at fairs and was a rodeo clown. Like, he would have had to be a genius in half a dozen different fields to be able to pull this off as a hoax, but he fucking never showed that once in his entire life to anybody. It's so frustrating that people just refuse to believe their own eyes. Every better stabilization, over time, it has just gotten more and more convincing, and people just, they pretend they don't see it.
Yeah.
It makes me insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty dyed-in-the-wool believer in it at this point in my life. It's like kind of like for what I'm saying. Like I've never heard a convincing fucking argument that it's not real.
Me either.
You know, and a lot of people, I think they because they can't debunk the film, they try to debunk the people. It's like the old Stan Friedman thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, and then there are some shady parts of the story and everything in that regard, but still, it's like,
right, things can be complicated.
yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's like that the film kind of speaks for itself. Like how it came to be is, again, it's like all that shit where it's like, well, everything had to work in their favor. It's like, well, that's just how the tumblers fell, man.
And even like Roger Patterson at one point said it couldn't have happened to a worse person.
Right.
Which is like, yeah, because he was already obsessed with Bigfoot. He like wanted to fund an expedition. He like it just so happened to, yeah, it's absolutely fascinating story. But like two things can be true at the same time. The Bob Hieronymus thing just also makes me insane.
This is the claim that like there was like a massacre of Bigfoot or something like that.
The guy who came forward like in the 90s and said it was him, and he was on all the TV specials. Like if you Google his name, his the sort of subtitle on Google is television personality, which is kind of funny. But like he lent them, he was like friends with Bob and Roger, and he lent them a horse to go to Bluff Creek because they were going. It was a 500-mile drive, by the way. Like they could have just done this in Washington. Every forest clearing looks like any other forest clearing,
right? That's true.
But it was in Bluff Creek. It was confirmed in Bluff Creek, and he didn't fucking go with them, so it wasn't him. And the costume he presents clearly is not the one in the film. So, yeah, that shit makes it's so frustrating.
Yeah, especially like, okay, so let's say someone did make the costume. Like you're kind of saying about like these people never demonstrated these skills of like being able to pull like, so if they turned to someone who made the fucking costume, it would stand to reason like we would see this cost like how they're like, oh, they fucking pulled technology from the flying saucer. It's like, well, presumably they would craft this, whoever made the Bigfoot suit would then in turn fucking, you know, become like Jim Henson or some shit. Right. We'd be like later, we'd be like, oh, okay, it came out of, but like that never seemed to happen. There's no sort of like
nobody's recreated it. Nobody has like because it can't be done. There's been a bunch of people who have said they can remake it, like professional makeup people in Hollywood who've said that they can make it easy. I think Stuart Freeborn, I think he did the 2001 monkey suits. I think he said that it's a guy in a bad fursuit. Sorry. But like at the time, 1967, this is like carpet backing with hair put in it. Like,
right.
Have you seen Ultraman?
No, I'm not.
Just like a Japanese, like Power Rangers type thing.
Okay. I know this. I know the character. I know the character.
All of these costumes are very hard to maneuver in, and they don't look real.
Yeah, they're funky. Like Planet of the Apes.
Like Planet of the Apes. That came out just a couple months later. And that big promotional stuff going on for the movie and the costumes and stuff. That was Rick Baker who made those, who I may have won an Oscar for him. And he, lot of 2001, also a few months later.
Yeah.
People had ape suits like kind of on the brain. It was just in media and stuff. And it must be a guy in an ape suit. I wish I could have seen the actual, because I mean, we've only ever seen the Patterson-Gimlin film on screens.
Yeah.
We've never actually seen it on like the proper film, like on a projector, let alone like the first copy of it before it, like, I mean, there's like multiple generation copies. When we see a video, we don't know what copy we're looking at. It could be like a 7th generation copy. I wish I could have seen, because it's really not grainy and blurry like people say. Like it's just a 24 still images a second. Like it was crystal clear. There's slides out there in some places, but yeah, I wish I could have seen it on like Patterson's original tour. But yeah, people. Yeah, go ahead, whatever you're gonna say. I could go on forever.
No. Yeah, I have many thoughts. So yeah, I think my skepticism of the skepticism is is with the Planet of the Apes. It's like they couldn't even really pull off the Planet of the Apes costume because they had to wear like human clothes and shit. And I'm sure that's part of the story, but I also believe that they were like, how are we going to fucking do this? We can't make it like these ape suits look shitty. And so we have to like kind of work around it and they have pay. I forget how they were dressed. They had vests and pants. It was just kind of like in various states of dress. From what I can recall, I haven't seen the original Planet of the Apes in years, but they were certainly wearing clothes. So it was like, okay, I think that's because the suit technology wasn't really as great as enough to make a Bigfoot. So
yeah, it's also like every movie that you see, even like recent movies, like there was that recent movie Sasquatch Sunset. Yeah. Very clear you're looking at a person in a costume. None of that with Patty. Yeah. None of that. The the 2001 ape suits were like really good. Really, really good. But they went like all the way up to the eyelids. They had like the actors had like a little toggle they could use their tongue with to like make their teeth bar. They like on the soundstage, it was like 115 degrees because of all the overhead light, and they had to have a tube in their mouth to breathe when they were offset. Like
right. So we're supposed to believe that like
$1 million to make.
Yeah, so we're supposed to believe all this is going on in the woods at Bluff Creek with Patterson-Gimlin. Like, who the fuck is putting this person in the suit? You need a team of like wardrobe people. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I think people went through like 2 or 3 companies to like actually make this. Yeah, but it also the like again ape suits at the time, like the type that Roger would be able to get his hands on, which he probably did get his hands on one. That's probably the one that Bob Hieronymus presents as the costume that, like I said, 2 things can be true. Roger Patterson can make Bob Hieronymus put on an ape suit, do the walk and film it, and also him not be the one in the Patterson film. Because Roger was making a film, like a docudrama or pseudo-documentary. Like that was the project. That's one of the reasons that they were out there in Bluff Creek that day, taking a bunch of B-roll and also looking for evidence of a Bigfoot because he was trying to fund a proper expedition. Yeah. So yeah, Bob Hieronymus probably does think it was him. Like the story's complicated.
It certainly is. Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned about wishing you could see it because that's when I talked to Lauren a few years ago. That for some reason that conversation really stood out to me because like I had never really he experienced it. It was like, what was that like? Because we talk about this thing. We could go on YouTube right now and watch it frame by frame through the whole. Like we could break it down, But back then it was like you watch it and then you're done. It's like you pay to see this nature movie that they put it in or whatever, and like you're waiting, and then you see it, and it's done. You can't pause it. You can't watch. If you want to see it again, you got to pay another $5 or whatever and watch the whole fucking nature, however long it is. At the 48-minute mark, they'll put the fucking Bigfoot clip in, and that's it. And it must have been like just crazy time. Of like sort of like, have you seen it? And it's a rumor, and like, when's it going? And just sort of trying to replay it in your fucking mind. Right. And I would imagine some people might have tried to like film it like from them, but even then it was like, who the fucking cameras were? You had to sneak like a fucking old timey camera and film it from the thing. So it's crazy to think about back then that this was like a lost text or something like that sort of initially. Right. Yeah, that would have been crazy to see the whole reel of film because I've only ever seen like the 4 minutes leading up to the end. Like there's on Internet Archive, there's where him and Bob are just going through the woods, like taking a bunch of B-roll. Roger also very good. It shows he's a very good with camera operator. He's got a steady hand. He's been doing this a while. He's good. And then all of a sudden, it just cuts to him running toward the Bigfoot. And then he runs out of film. That's another thing that is just an incredible. If he faked it, just a genius touch, inventing the sort of found footage genre. Like, it's real. It just is. Sorry. Yeah, no, you don't have to apologize to me. I'm a believer. I forget who I was talking to, and I apologize to the previous guest, but something came up. It might have been Lauren. But something came up where there was another piece of footage that was not as tantalizing, but something, and it was like lost right away. like right away within the first, however.
Filmed by somebody else?
No, by them.
Oh,
by
interesting.
them. Like a second interesting piece of footage, not necessarily of big. Maybe they filmed like the tracks or something. It was something that was like that would have been very good to have.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of footage out there. I mean, it's not like it's out there. It's not like online really because it's all in private hands mostly. And do you know about the original, like the camera original film? What happened to it?
No.
So Roger, he struck a deal with a media company called ANE, America's Something Entertainment, to do the broadcasting rights to put it on TV and whatnot. And pretty soon after that, Roger died because he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and his family didn't really care about it that much. And A&E went under, auctioned off all their furniture, and somebody who bought a bunch of furniture found it in a file cabinet. So they became the legal owners of it.
What?
Yep. And then I think it was Renee DeHinden, the Bigfoot researcher, convinced Bob Gimlin that he had rights to the film because he was there, and it was called Patterson-Gimlin film. So he filed the claim and won 51% of some type of rights. And then Patricia Patterson had the other 49 and some other token things like couldn't broadcast on TV or could license stills, whatever. And then, so Bob won the 51%. He sold his 51% to Renee DeHinden for just fucking $5 or whatever. Cause he didn't care. Like Bob Gimlin literally didn't care. Like he actually kind of hated having it because he talks about it in interviews where his wife all of a sudden was just getting a bunch of flack at work, being made fun of and shit. And she's come home crying. And there's nothing she could really do about it. Yeah. And it just 1 minute of this guy's life just made things fucking suck. And now that's what he's going to be known for forever.
Yeah.
And so he didn't care. So he just gave his rights to Renee DeHinden for $5 or something. And then Renee DeHinden went to the film vault that it was stored in LA to take it out and work with this guy, Bruce Bonney, who was an imaging expert. And they were going to do some ectochrome prints or something. And they did.
Yes, it's not there.
They had some type of falling out. So, apparently very hostile, and Bill Munn said possibly violent, and never got checked again. And Bruce Bonney became a recluse and doesn't talk to anybody if he's still alive. And Renee DeHinden's son said he didn't find it when he inherited all his dad's stuff. So it's out there somewhere.
Wow. So it's gone missing, possibly with this possibly dead recluse.
Possibly, yeah. The other possibility is somebody at the film vault knew what it was and just fucking took it.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. They went to go do it, and then they were like, wait, it's gone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, there are still good copies out there, like first generation copies that Bill Munn's Bigfoot researcher who wrote a book about the film, pretty good book about the film, When Roger Met Patty. He still has it. I think MK Davis, who all the stabilizations that you see of the PGF, that's MK Davis. He's the one who does all those, and he has the files of good copies for his computer. But I doubt. I don't know. It's probably under Patricia's. She gave him the right to do it or something. I don't remember, but yeah, there's good copies out there, but you don't really need one.
You really don't. No, I mean, I'm sure there's some subtle differences, but I don't really have the eye to be like, oh, this is the good shit. This is
right.
To me, it's I'm just looking at the Bigfoot.
The last thing I wanted to say about the Patterson film is, I mean, like I said, Roger dies a few years later, 1973, I think. And Bob and Roger actually had a falling out pretty soon after they took the footage, because Bob is he trains and breaks horses. That's what he does. Yeah. And after they were out there, because I mean, they took that footage their 20th day out there. They were roughing it.
Oh, wow.
The woods. Yeah.
So they're probably getting kind of sick of each other as it is.
Yeah, but Roger, when he went on tour with the film, because Bob just went back to the horses. Roger's brother-in-law, his name is Al Diatley, who kind of funded Roger's ventures because he never really had a lot of money, and Al did have a lot of money, a successful gravel business or something. And when they went on tour, Al hired a guy to pretend to be Bob Gimlin.
Oh, wow.
When they went on tour. And then,
that's great.
And at one of these stops, somebody who knew Bob Gimlin was like, I know Bob Gimlin, that's not Bob Gimlin. And like security ended up taking him out. And this got back to Bob, and he was like, kind of fucking hurt. So why did you fucking tell me? It's so fucking weird. And their relationship soured, but Roger, a few years later, Roger's dying. And Bob, good man. If you listen to him talk, it takes like fucking 5 seconds to realize he's an honest person and he's not lying. And he says that when he went to go see him in the hospital, Roger immediately apologizes, says it was all Al's idea and didn't want to do it and sorry and whatever. And Bob says it's okay. And that's then great. They got back to talking about the Bigfoot. And Roger said if he could do it again, he would fucking shoot it so we didn't have to deal with all these like fucking haters or whatever.
Yeah.
Weird thing to say if that's your friend in the costume.
Yeah.
But he
perfectly normal in my mind. Some people were like horrified, but no, this guy could absolutely see that. That would actually be my regret for sure. If I had a gun, like, I would never have to deal with these fucking assholes ever again. I'd have the fucking Bigfoot.
Well, they did have a gun. They both had guns.
I know. Yeah.
Like, right.
Yeah, I would just be like have this mix of regret and just like piss at myself.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. It happened very fast. Decisions had to be made. And yeah.
If it had come after that, I bet if it had come in their direction, I bet you things might have turned out differently.
Yeah,
but it was kind of just going along.
So they, and then Roger starts telling Bob that this all is per Bob Gimlin, by the way. He's said this, and then Roger starts talking about once I'm better, we're going to go back out with trank guns. We're going to bag one of these fucking things. And Bob's like, yo, you just get better first. Then he leaves and he's walking out to his car, and Roger's brother runs out and says he's dead.
Oh, wow.
Like that was the unfinished business that he had.
That's wild.
Make amends with the one other person who was there and whose life was forever changed by it. That 1 minute of these guys' lives.
Yeah.
Just totally changed the direction, everything. The human element of all of this is never really the same with like UFO sightings and stuff. Like the human element of everything is never really appreciated by a lot of people, unfortunately. But yeah, fascinating story. It's
the word gets thrown around a lot, but it's iconic.
It is iconic. I mean, every Bigfoot sticker you see is like that's the face of the entire thing is the Patty silhouette.
Yeah, the shape of the Bigfoot is the Patterson-Gimlin.
Except they all exclude the boobs.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Which is a thing that's just impossible to make.
What's that?
Which is another element of this that's just impossible to fake. Like you couldn't do that like at the time. It was like a couple decades until you could do realistic like flab.
Yeah. Well, and it's sort of counter. I think that it would be too much of an extra detail. Like why would you throw in the extra aspect of hoaxing? You know what I mean?
So here it's funny. It's funny because the year before they took the film, Roger put out like a little book about America's Abominable Snowman, and it has like a bunch of old news clippings and like a bunch of hand-drawn stuff by Roger, including like these maps of the West Coast that look like cartoon treasure maps. It's so funny, and they have big X's where the Bigfoots are. They're great. But one of his drawings is of a female Bigfoot with breasts and. I've seen people say that's like, what are the odds that Roger had in his book a Bigfoot with breasts and he comes across a Bigfoot with breasts? What are you fucking talking about? Half of them are going to be female. All that extra effort, which again is impossible. Fucking, like I said, critical thinking out the fucking window. They don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's the best. I really I don't think we'll ever. I think that's partially too why I'm just kind of jaded about these like debunking videos. Because it's like we'll never know. We'll never really know for sure. I don't think. I really don't think anyone will ever. Like, I don't think there's any way to. I don't know. Maybe technology will someday improve to the point where they can. But again, I don't know. It'll always be up for debate.
Yeah, but
I guess it'll always be attacked by skeptics.
Right.
Change it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 100%. Which is, which I don't. If it was anything else, if it was like not Bigfoot, I don't know. It's so obvious to me that it's a Bigfoot. Like everything about it just scans as being legit. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't stand it. But what do you? Okay,
so you must have grappled this question. You said you got started reading the Loren Coleman book. So what do you think? What do you think these guys filmed out there? So what's your take on Bigfoot? Is the broad question?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Join the club.
It's something. It's not. I think Loren thinks that it's a Prometheus boisei, which is like some type of early hominid or something.
All right, so you just think it's a general creature, just a creature.
Yeah, but I also think a lot of the people who like have woo Bigfoot stories are probably also like telling the truth. Like I think it can be both.
I think it can be both. I really do.
I think it probably is both, to be honest. I think it can be a zoological thing and a paranormal thing. But
yeah, I think so. I think people get really hung up on that to the point where they're like, you have to take a side, and it's like, no, I think it can be both.
It's stupid. Yeah, like when me, Emily Tanner, and Reed were at the Bigfoot Festival last year, it was really funny because Cliff Barackman was the first presenter, and he does like one of the longest running Bigfoot shows or something. I wasn't familiar with him, but he was very clear that like Bigfoot is a normal animal, and if you're talking about things with portals or orbs, got no time for that. We're trying to be a respectable field or whatever. And then every presenter after them had their very subjective woo Bigfoot stories.
Yeah.
It's very funny. And also they were all great fucking stories and I have no reason to doubt them. But yeah, it's really interesting. My favorite Bigfoot book, well, actually not my favorite Bigfoot book. My favorite book is The Creature, Personal Experience with Bigfoot, the one that's really erotic or whatever. Yeah. Have you read that?
No, I've not. I've read no erotic Bigfoot.
It fucking
is this
rocks.
Chuck Tingle? Is this the one?
No, it's not Chuck Tingle. It's not Chuck Tingle, but those are good too. It's by an anonymous author, and they write about their experiences with a Bigfoot they call Kong, and it's like really erotic, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. I think the best Bigfoot book I've read is Where Bigfoot Walks by Robert Michael Pyle, who David Cross played him in a movie.
Really?
The Dark Divide, which is the subtitle of Where Bigfoot Walks, Crossing the Dark Divide, because he's a nature writer.
Okay.
And like naturalist, Yale professor. He specializes in butterflies. He edited the collection of Vladimir Nabokov's butterfly writings, which are also beautiful. And he did a book about Bigfoot, and where he just goes out in nature, and it's like half travel writing, half Bigfoot history, half like nature writing, conservation stuff. It's really, really, really good. And in the recent reissue of it, the 2017 one, Jane Goodall is in the new afterword because Pyle and Goodall shared the same editor, and he tried to get Goodall to blurb the book originally in the 90s, but they couldn't find her in Gombe. And Pyle asks her if she read the book, and she says yes, but I don't know why you were so circumspect. To me, the evidence seems overwhelming. Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was there's a number of sections in the book where he talks about various Native American traditions regarding Bigfoot, and there's a concept that's just completely lost on us today. It's that something like in sort of Enlightenment science world, that Bigfoot can be like the hairy giants that they talk about can be transient. They can they can exist sometimes and not exist other times. It's just this thing that it's just a religious sort of spiritual tradition that's just been completely just eliminated, basically. But it's really, really interesting. My favorite phrase to describe, I can't remember what the name of the writer was, but there is a writer who called Bigfoot an indigenous wraith, which I really liked.
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Bigfoot. It's interesting. I find
it just makes more sense. It makes more sense that there's so fucking many people who have seen a Bigfoot. Yeah. And it just makes more sense that some of them are real. Like, then they're not all mistaking bears for Bigfoots.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate how big the forest is. This, like, people mostly live in communities, obviously. Even some people who live like out in the rural areas probably are more open to Bigfoot because they understand what I'm trying to say. And it's just like there are huge fucking swaths of American land. We had Arcadia After Dark guy on recently. We talk about Maine and how it's fucking like that. Like, why the fuck couldn't Bigfoot be in there? You know,
right? Then there's one of the other points that Pyle makes in the book, being a conservationist and naturalist, is how much. I mean, just like if you're looking like from the top above and the actual like surface area of the country, there's X amount of square miles, but like the amount of vertical space is also like enormous, like numbers of magnitude more square footage, just if you count the actual ups and downs of valleys and hills and mountains.
Topography, yeah.
That's the word, yep. Yeah, there's plenty of places where it can be. I was talking to another amazing Twitter account and Substack, Odd Old News.
Yeah, I know that.
He lives in Michigan. He lives not far from me. Yeah, and he says that he has seen the big man a few times himself. He comes from a family of trappers, and they out in the middle of nowhere. He says that, he's seen it a few times, and he doesn't like seeing it because it's really scary. But yeah, there was just a credible sighting in eastern Michigan.
Marion.
Yeah. And I also, no reason to doubt him, even though it was pretty close to civilization. People just see him sometimes. They just do.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's flummoxing, I guess, just because, you've been around a long time. You've been reading about this since you were a kid. And it's just like, oh man, this thing's still out on the loose, dude.
He's the last outlaw.
Yeah. I hate that, like, Bigfoot hide and seek champion. I don't know. I find
so annoying.
So, like, cringe. Yeah, I find it so cringe. But but Bigfoot is like a folk hero in a sense.
100%.
He's still out there and no one can get it.
Fucking love Bigfoot. Like there is when we went to the Bigfoot festival, I was kind of surprised to see just how enthusiastic people were about it. Like they're like fans of Bigfoot. Like he's a sports fan.
Yeah.
There's actually, I should read this. There's this great bit in Pyle's book where he is at a Harrison Hot Springs Bigfoot event, and there's a retired fish and game guy who's doing a presentation, and he starts his presentation with a lecture or a monologue, and it goes a little something like okay, here it is.
Musical interlude here, folks. All right, go ahead.
His talk took on an incantatory tone, and the account became a beguiling litany of beasthood. He's a monster. He'll eat anything alive, dead, fresh, rotten. He's a survivor, mobile, quick, fast, and strong. Anybody who sees a slow Sasquatch is not in the ballpark. He's got no limits, climbs any mountain, swims any river. He's got no barriers. Not an endangered species. That's us. He can pull down big game on the run or by stealth like a cougar. He can lay down a light track or spring like a deer. Has a lot of humor, yet restraint. Rocks, cars, and cabins, but lets folks go. We agonize, he couldn't care less. An opportunist at the top of the food chain, in great shape. He's got it made. adapted to the cutover lands, lives a good, rugged existence. He's got no need for wages, lives off the fat of the land, and pays no taxes. And then Pyle says, the room was hypnotized. And suddenly I realized these guys don't want to find Bigfoot. They want to be Bigfoot.
Yes. That's a fucking...
I think that's so genius. Accurate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a bullseye, man. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's a good fucking book. Highly recommend.
Yeah. That's a good... All right. We'll bump off of Bigfoot for a bit. Let's talk. I know one of your other bailiwicks is UFO disclosure and sort of the UFO scene.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to be dated by the time, we're taping this on the June 9th. So Monday, June 9th. And for people kind of who recall, I don't know when, this will probably be out in July or something, but this Wall Street Journal article just came out. And,
haven't read it yet.
Okay, good. Then that's good. And then this won't be dated. All right. So we'll just skip right to the sort of what's your take? You're very negative about this.
About disclosure?
Yeah. What's your overall thought here? Why is this a passion of yours to have, because I've kind of thrown my hands up and been like, oh, fuck it. But it seems to grind your gears a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I checked out quite a while ago. I don't have any patience for it anymore. I'm in the same boat as you. But like, I hardly know anything about what AARO is. I still don't know if it was ATIP or OSAP that existed.
Yeah, I can't keep track of all that shit.
Who gives a shit? It's stupid. I just don't care. And nothing is going to change. Like anytime anybody texts me about UFO stuff in the news, I just say, don't worry about it. Because one, just don't. So it's stupid. It's all stupid. Nothing's going to change. It's the fucking Twin Peaks giant thing where he's just on the stage and he says, it's happening again.
Yeah.
This has been attempted and it's failed and it's not going to work. And I don't know why people want the government to do this. Like, in what universe is the government who did the supposed cover up just going to come clean when they don't have to?
Right.
Like, there's this like sort of idea that the disclosure prophets and activists, quote unquote activists, have like put forward that like you're making the difference by posting at your congressman and shit like that. Like you're making this happen. You're making all the. That's not the case at all. Right. Like it's not how this works. I learned a very valuable lesson when I wrote to my congressman, Fred Umpton, when I was like 10 years ago or something, about Michigan was going to like give Nestle like basically unlimited access to all these water sources. And there were like 90,000 letters or messages to them in opposed to it and like 17 in favor, and they still passed it anyway.
Yeah.
Like writing your, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there, but I just think it's stupid. I think it's stupid. Like,
yeah. And I take it. Yeah. And you've seen kind of the evolution of this because you got into it before 2017. Right. For all of us who it's really remarkable to me, but it's like the people and the celebrities and the UFO celebrities are all post 2017. It's like this weird fucking divide happened, and as I call it, UAP world because
it's the UAP era. That's right.
Yeah, it's completely different from like the old timey flying saucers and UFOs stuff that I like.
Right. That's the other thing is they don't even have the decency to tell you what the aliens look like or like what we're actually fucking talking about here. They just use the term NHI, non-human intelligence, which could mean anything. I said this on Robbie Martin's show recently, but like at least Uri Geller has the decency to post a photo of an alien and say that it's an alien and you can tell that it's a female because half of its body is a giant vagina. I appreciate that. These people, everything is just as vague as possible, and they lie about how like they lie about most things, but they lie about how like being vague is actually like a virtue, and it's so fucking stupid. I have.
Well, I'm going to drop this on you because this is what was in the Wall Street Journal article because it's really interesting to me, and that did create a lot of talk. So I'm going to give a fucking butchered version of it.
Sure.
So because I don't have it in front of me, and there was one key paragraph. The point being, the guy who runs the government UFO office, the new guy, or the guy who Kirkpatrick or whatever his name is. Okay, he said all these fucking military personnel would all come in with like the same fucking story that when they were brought in, they were shown this picture of a fucking UFO and they were like given, told all this shit and fucking sworn to secrecy and all this shit. And as he like put the pieces together, he figured out that this was like an ongoing sort of hazing ritual, that when they brought the new guy in, they would fuck with him and show him the picture. And maybe it was like a test of like who would spill the beans on this shit or not or whatever. But it was certainly some kind of like institutional fuckery that they realized had been going on for like decades. And they were like, stop doing this. Like, I guess they issued like a thing like in 2023 where they're like, stop fucking doing the UFO shtick that you've been doing for like 30 years. And that was the long and the short of it. So to me, it was like,
that's good. That's
makes
interesting.
Perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
I hadn't heard anybody mention that part of the article. Cause I'm sorry to him if he's listening, but Mark writes about this in Mirageman. That's Walt Bosley, kind of.
It could be. I'll have to ask Walt.
It's more, his story is more incredible.
Yeah, he had a guy who was like sort of his mentor and telling him a bunch of shit. But yeah, I can. Yeah.
But I have a scoop actually, if I can share. It's
sure,
okay. Give me 1 second. I gotta get the papers.
He's got papers, folks.
Okay, so I was sent. So there was another potential UFO whistleblower who emailed Congresswoman Luna's office trying to set up a meeting, and I have his emails.
How?
I was sent them by somebody.
Oh, Jesus.
And he mentions something exactly like this.
Yeah, being shown a picture or something, right?
Yep, here it is. Let's see. I'm not going to say his name, but I may write something in the future where I say his name. So,
did you get these? Did you get these by legal means? Jesus,
I was texted them.
All right,
I didn't steal them.
Okay.
He says that. It's a career Navy guy. Then he says, blah, blah, this is the email where he tells this whole story. Prior to then, I spent a year in Afghanistan with Special Operations Forces and the intelligence community. About 9 months into my deployment, the Deputy Director of Intelligence for that task force comes up to me while I'm off shift and says, "You're an engineer, right?" Compared to the SEALs and Green Berets at the base, sure. He takes me to his office, shuts the door, logs into his computer, and shows me a video. The video was extremely clear and showed a kind of reverse teardrop-shaped object driving slowly just under the surface of the water, then rising above the water, then yoinking up to the upper atmosphere in about 2 seconds. Then they showed me 2 more such videos. He asked me how these crafts fly. I had no explanation. This was beyond our current understanding of physics. He proceeds to show me a very long email chain with a lot of very important people on there. The contents were highly disturbing. It specifically states the specific nature of the problem, how this is a threat to national security.
What is this? Yeah, all
and
right.
how we know for sure that this phenomena is not from any other country like Russia or China, because they are equally terrified of these objects. They state the brightest minds in the country are working on this, and Elon Musk is the first name mentioned.
Oh my God.
Then he goes on to talk about how he can't find the guy who showed him these videos anymore.
Of course.
He can't. He mentions something about the intelligence community's version of white pages. It's called JWIX, which I only bring up because I think this guy is U.S. Navy X. from the James Fox documentary. I think it's the same guy. But anyways, he also thinks that everything in James Cameron's The Abyss is real.
Oh, well, there you go. Jesus. Why do people go like they start out, then they go off the deep end even more, where it's like, all right, dude. But what I would, my observation of this revelation was that like it just makes perfect sense. And then you get like, someone who's a fabulist, or someone who's on the other end who wants to just fuck with the person there, they add details. It becomes like a game of telephone. I
talked to Mark Pilkington about this on the phone, and like, cause I suspect that he was Mirage Mend. And I brought that up because I think it's just fun to fuck with people like this.
Yeah.
I think that could be a big part of it.
Like shit posting, like I like to do on Twitter.
Right. And also, it's being able to be the guy who just like, because also the guy who like is showing him these videos, or like the guy in that Waltz was shown the triangular UFO, the guy out in the desert with him. They act like the fucking cool upperclassmen, letting in like the lower classmen on some cool shit. Right.
It's hazing. It's hazing.
Right, exactly. It's fascinating, but
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Because and to me, with that revelation, then it kind of blurs the lines of all sort of people. All this, it really kind of fucks up the whole like narrative that really fractures sort of the underpinning, the fabric of ufology in a sense. Mm-hmm. Because all of a sudden it's like every whistleblower has to be taken at a second. You have to just sort of double think, well, could you have? I mean, we all kind of figured this was going on, but now with them saying it,
right,
it's even more like it casts considerable doubt on all kinds of shit.
For the disclosure people, they don't like Kirkpatrick, right?
Right. They don't give a fuck. They don't do any of this stuff.
Right.
They can't even entertain the possibility that what's reported in the thing is true. So they're like, oh, they're saying that now after the fact to fucking did it, and it's like, all right, we're just going to keep chasing our tails here. Like everyone's just going to go in circles on this.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. Like, I feel bad for the UAP era people who got into it in 2017, because like it's not fun. It sucks. It's all boring, and there's stories out there that like how are you not just reading about like the Falkville spaceman or some shit instead? That's actually fun.
Yeah, classic UFOs and flying saucers and humanoids and shit is where it's at.
It's like, where it's at.
The contemporary thing is this cloak and dagger fucking like reality show shit where like you're just you're just part of the audience. You're not really an active participant. With the other shit, I suppose you are if reading up on weird cases and shit, but it's like just different. I don't know, man. It's
really different.
All the material, all the alien UFO shit is like within the government purview.
Right. And it's just it's a bunch of spooks telling it to you.
Yeah.
Like I would love to go back. Like there's more spooks on TV talking about UFOs now, which means it's bad.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the motivation behind all this is? Why do you think this like burst into the zeitgeist almost a decade ago now?
Good question. That's crazy that was that long ago already.
I know.
Because like, I mean, there's a great interview that Tom DeLonge gave before his people put handlers on him. And he was on Coast to Coast with George Knapp in March 2016. And this is literally what he says to George Knapp. I went in this is like, he got like the app. He left Blink for his like stupid, like bird brain disclosure project, but he actually was like earnest about it and was talking to Podesta. It's in the WikiLeaks Podesta emails.
Way before everything. Yeah. This is like,
this
was set the stage for all this to happen in a sense. So I mean, in a weird way, it's like, he does have that kind of odd claim to fame where it's like he was making a lot of noise before all this happened. So.
Yep. And certain people in the intelligence community were listening, because this is what he tells George Knapp. This is like he's going into a meeting that got set up with like the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works guy or something. And he says, I went in very, very respectful and asked for permission on everything that I did and treated it the way these guys treat it, which is it is a national and global security issue. So at that time, I didn't say anything about this subject. I just said, hey, I have an idea for a project, and this project I think if it's done correctly, will reverse the cynicism that people have about government and what people have about the military industrial complex. I think that if I do this, places like this and other arms of government will be happy that it got communicated.
Yeah. So that's an interesting motivation.
Like Tom DeLonge's he's a dumb guy. He's not really that bright. Like, he's just, I guess he was really good at one thing at the perfect cultural moment, which was fucking pop punk music, and became one of the biggest celebrities in the world. And the only other real interest he had was fucking UFOs, which I completely understand. They're interesting. But he doesn't seem to be very well read. I tried listening to the interview he did on Joe Rogan a number of years ago, and I had to stop like 10 minutes in. Just fucking brutal, man. Like, Joe Rogan is just like, so you just figured out all this stuff from books you've read? And Tom's like, it's brutal. It's hard to watch. But like, yeah, he just fell into these people's like laps on a silver platter, and somebody took advantage of it. And I think everything since that, this is another thing I talked about with Mark, is like, there doesn't have to be like one grand conspiracy at work here. It's just a bunch of different people taking advantage of the situation for their own reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes to make money, sometimes for various like petty things. It's also another thing that's complicated. And it doesn't really like, it's kind of hard to dissect when you actually get down to it. Like, there's influence networks from Logan Paul was talking to Palmer Luckey, the head of Anduril Industries, about fucking UFOs on his podcast, which is weird. Anduril being one of the biggest defense contractors now. And also, the guy whose emails I have, that's where he works now.
Oh, geez.
I think. If he is U.S. Navy X, that's where he works now. I don't think there is one aim here in this disclosure type thing. There seems to be competing camps within disclosure. Like, you got
like how to manage it. I bet it's probably more
or just like,
not like how to give it away, but how do we keep teasing this out?
Or like a fight for the new figures. Like David Grush was talking to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp long before he came forward. What's the guy's name? Jake Barber.
I think so. Yeah.
He was hanging out with Greer long before. And it seems like they're all competing for these new like whistleblowers to build their portfolio and stuff. And in the end, probably for some type of government contracts. Like Lou Elizondo, I know, is very much of that persuasion too. He wants to be the new UFO czar or something. It's all really
yeah. And then you have a lot of there's sort of like a quiet sort of camp out of the Silicon Valley, sort of that sort of moneyed private interest sort of is open to the scene now.
Yeah, I guess we can thank Pasulka, Kreipel, and Valet for that.
It's a confluence of characters,
right? There's always been, not always, but recent years has been the rumors about Peter Thiel funding all these things like Enigma Labs or whatever, which is still a very strange thing, which I would love to know what was actually going on there. But yeah, like I think it was Stephanie Quick who sent me a shout out Stephanie. She sent me an article with an interview with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but like a learned religion researcher. And she was comparing Jeffrey Kreipel to Martin Luther and Pasulka to John Calvin. And it's, I don't know, there's this weird, what do you call it? I question a lot of people, especially these people. I think they have to have ideological motivations because they're talking about this paradigm shift that like it sounds like they do believe that it's inevitable that UFO religiosity will become the next big thing. And also AI is factors in there somewhere. Tanner writes this about in his article of Pasulka's new book, review of Pasulka's new book, but it's this weird melding of all of my biggest enemies in tech world and UFOs. And it's really frustrating. And I don't know what to make of it. It's unfortunate. I just wish people could just enjoy it and have fun. And like, because it's so interesting. And I genuinely think that I've become a better person by being into weird stuff for most of my life. But it took a while. It was a big learning curve here, emotionally and intellectually. But yeah, I thankfully in 2017, when most people got back into it, I also got back into it in 2017 in earnest, but that was because I started having my own long series of UFO experiences.
Yeah.
And when To the Stars debuted, I was very cynical about it. Well, I also was hardly paying attention because I spent 3 years looking at the sky every single night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I think Tanner brought it up once when we were doing the Getting Spooked podcast. He thought it was funny that I got back into UFOs in 2017, but because of my own experiences, and he called it like strangely beautiful. And I would agree.
Yeah. It's kismet. Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes. It's just, it's its own little fucking world. I don't get it. I don't really, like I said, there's all these characters and celebrities and fandom and sort of like the whole scene is not, I don't know. It burst, like I said, it like broke off like as its own little bubble. And it's I kind of am just looking at it floating away like a UFO and being like, there it goes. There they go in their community. And it's like, I hate, I really shouldn't even apologize, but it is, given my knowledge of the scene, it's just it's the same as the flat earth. It's like they have all their characters and celebrities and shows and everything. And it's its own little fucking world.
Can you tell me, I know you've probably talked about this on previous episodes, but I haven't listened to them. Can you tell me about hanging out with flat earth people? Because I'm in a few flat earth Facebook groups just to check up on them once in a while. And it's very funny and weird and dumb.
Yeah, they're very militant online. In real life, they're pretty cool.
They're okay. Just normal people, but like
they're very misguided people. Like,
I don't understand.
Led astray.
I don't understand because I get why people believe in QAnon. I get it, but like, I don't get why people believe flat Earth. Like, what the sort of, I just don't see it. Like, do they ever talk about that? Like, what is the fucking point of it? Like, what is being hidden and what are the stakes here?
Yeah, but it's almost.
Is it also like QAnon where they all have their own versions?
Yeah, kind of.
Choose adventure.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think they think that deeply about it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Sure.
kind of like it's become just a belief system for them, and now it's just that's how they see the world and shit. I haven't really kind of hung out with them in a long time, so I haven't really. I have to see what the scene is like now. It seems very fractured, and people kind of. It's not like it used to be when I was following them.
When was that?
Right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Like November 2019. So
gotcha. Yeah, it did have a moment. Flat Earth did have a moment for sure.
Yeah, that was kind of like right as the peak was starting to come down, and it was then the pandemic happened, and a lot of them just kind of scattered like the wind, and it's just not the same anymore. Now it's just sort of like a quirky. It's more like the moon hoax. You know what I mean? Where it's like, to me at least, where before it was like this weird sort of. I wouldn't say community because it's still quite a weird community and shit. Yeah. Not much of a moon hoax community, but it's sort of like in that it's reached that kind of realm.
Gotcha.
What's with the Garden Gnome Liberation Front? What's this all about?
I like liberation. I think it's good. I'm usually a fan of militant liberatory organizations, but
Are you a member of the Garden Gnome Liberation Front?
I am not. I don't believe in it. You can't just kidnap gnomes from people. It's not cool. Thankfully, ours is made of cement, and somebody tried to steal it once and just dropped it in the middle of the street because it was too heavy.
Oh no!
But yeah, Gordon he's a good guy. The Gnome Liberation Front is kind of like a tradition. Like people steal gnomes all the time, garden gnomes.
Yeah,
they don't even realize that this is like a long running thing. It's basically a meme at this point. It's just like a fun thing to do as like a teenager or something. And there's some people who do it like often and a lot, and they will like take somebody's garden gnome in the dead of night and then send a like ransom note, and it'll be like about how they are like how Britons are like making gnomes labor for no pay. Yeah, it's funny. It's a good gag.
I got it.
But yeah, that's actually reading about the Gnome Liberation Front is how I found about where garden gnomes as a concept came from, which is actually very interesting. There's a guy, Sir Charles Isham, was the first guy to put a gnome in his garden because he inherited one of these, like British aristocracy, and inherited one of these big estates when he was like 26 or something, but all he cared about was gardening. Brilliant gardener, featured in a bunch of gardening journals at the time and for most of his life. And he, in the mid 1800s, bought a number from some like famous ceramics guy, like 20 something little gnomes to put in his garden as a gesture of good faith to the real gnomes that his garden was gnome friendly and that they should resettle here because they live in rocks, and he had a bunch of rockery in his garden. And so the garden gnome came from a guy who believed that gnomes were real as a gesture of good faith to the real gnomes. He said that seeing and hearing gnomes is not a mental delusion, but an extension of faculty, which is a great line.
Interesting. Like extrasensory perception.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're not crazy. Did you ever see David the Gnome?
No.
It's a cartoon, I think, in the 80s.
Oh, I think I know that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There's the guy who created that, Will Hugan. He has a similar line too. But yeah, gnomes are just, I just like gnomes. I think they're cool and funny.
They're magical, dude.
Yeah, I saw a debrief article recently that said it was like it said gold from electricity, about how like electricity can create gold, and I just immediately remembered Franz Hartmann's Among the Gnomes, written in 1895, where a guy accidentally wanders into gnome world. This is fiction, by the way, but he says that the gnomes are the ones who create precious metals by means of something like electromagnetic fire. And do a lot of other geological processes too. And I just decided I kind of believe this. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah, people see gnomes all the time. Like even still now, not often, but like I read the fairy census, like it's still happening.
Well, it's kind of a bummer that, it's a very European sort of thing. Like you don't really we don't have a history of gnomes. We got Bigfoot, I guess.
We got Bigfoot. We have our own little folk too.
Yeah, that's true. We do. We do.
Tenny said he saw one in Michigan.
Really?
Have you heard that story?
I may have.
It's so good. He was introduced by this retired auto worker who said, do you want to meet an elf?
Oh, I think I remember the story. Yeah. And he had to like do a certain thing and like
Yeah, they're like there's a great like sort of running series where this guy collects people's like modern fairy, elf, little folk sightings, and he publishes them in they're called the Fairy Census.
Yeah, and
they're very fun. Highly recommend.
Really, the Fairy Census. Mm-hmm. All right, and these are contemporary accounts of fairy encounters. Mm-hmm. Oh wow! All right, I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's really good. But yeah, did you see something the other day about new information about the Sandown Clown?
I didn't see any new information, but I saw an article about how it's, I think they called it Britain's Bigfoot or something, which is kind of ridiculous.
So funny. It's really stupid. It wasn't Britain, right? It was like Wales or the Isle of Man or something.
It may have been. They may have said UK's. I don't know.
Yeah. So I was just wondering. Somebody, one of the humanoid accounts on Twitter, posted something about somebody talking about new information about the Sandown Clown, but I haven't read it yet.
I'd have to look into that, but yeah, no. Sandown Clown. Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny that there is a newfound appreciation of these old stories, almost to the point now where it's like some of them, like I've turned against them. Like the Symington pancake story. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I don't like it. I hate it now. It's just it's been overdone. I think I talked about it recently on the show though, because I do still like it as a case, but like it's it's reached meme status.
Sure.
Sort of like weird in the weird verse.
Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely other really interesting cases too. It does suck when it kind of gets just overplayed like that. That is unfortunate.
But yeah, I think the UAPification of the scene has at least given rise to sort of a better appreciation of the older shit, because a lot of us are like, well, I'm not going with you out into that bubble. So like, good luck to all of you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they get what they want,
I wish them well. Yeah, I wish them well. But I'm not getting on. I'm not getting on the mothership with them.
Right. You see it all the time with like I've seen it a number of times. I mean, it happened with fucking Stephen Greenstreet. Like he gets into it in an earnest way, does the homework, and then realizes that most of it is bullshit, and then decides that all of it is bullshit, and is never going to change his mind. And that happened to a lot of people in the post 2017 world, and now UFOs and stuff are just completely ruined for them. Like they will not be able to appreciate or like find joy or whatever. These people have turned this amazing, rich, fun, meaningful subject matter into like this gray, amorphous national security threat, and they should never be forgiven for that.
Yeah,
and
the UAP. See, the people who came in and then broke off, and they're now sort of the skeptics. And again, that's like the energy that powers the bubble. Mm-hmm. That's the energy that powers the bubble as it floats away. It's like they have their own skeptics who came along even after all this like came about. So it's
that's one thing I've been interested in lately is I've been going to Eastern Michigan University to scan a bunch of stuff from the Marcello Truzzi archive.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. Tell me, who is Marcello Truzzi?
He was born to I can't even remember what country, but he was born somewhere in Europe to famous circus performers, and became a sociology professor. And was very active in the psychical research and paranormal scene in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And he, that Carl Sagan thing about like extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence?
Yeah, of course.
Truzzi wrote that a year before Carl Sagan said that, but in the sort of reverse context, talking about skeptics and how they need to be able to back up their claims.
Oh, interesting.
And because they don't often. He had a great short essay in like the Whole Earth Catalog Fringes of Reason collection that like it was called Skeptics and Pseudo Skeptics, because the people who like if you're a skeptic that is taking an ambivalent agnostic position, you just are a skeptic. You don't put forth another explanation. If you do, you're a pseudo skeptic. And if you do that, you have to be able to back up your claims. And we deserve better skeptics, basically. I've been really frustrated with sort of so-called skeptics in recent months and years.
Yeah, skeptics. Yeah, they seem very fucking lazy to me. Like they really always go for like the low-hanging fruit. That those of us who are just skeptical in general are like, okay, like we already know that. Like you're really kind of going after a story that none of us who have any sort of like critical thinking about all this are like super on board for. Like,
Right,
go
like-
go get the hard ones.
Right. I consider myself a pretty good skeptic. I believe some stuff, but like it's a case by case basis. Like,
Right.
you just gotta have your wits about you, and you have to develop a good bullshit detector over a number of years, and like you can handle this stuff. It's. I watched Brian Dunning's UFO debunk doc. I think he called it like the UFO documentary they don't want you to see, and he like does a debunk of a number of the so-called best cases, but he also the whole time UFOs are he considers all UFOs to be extraterrestrial. He doesn't delve into any of the other stuff. So
I see what you're saying.
the whole-
that off from the premise that they're all
the whole thing's
the belief that the UFO
Yeah.
aliens. Yeah. Okay.
the whole thing starts with like the physics of space travel and shit like that. So it's setting it up for being making it a lot easier to debunk a lot of cases. But he also picks cases that like his first one is Rendlesham Forest, and he concludes that it literally was just the lighthouse light. When Valet wrote in Revelations about a lot of shit that was really weird regarding like having advance notice, the actual correct date of the whole thing being up for debate, about Valet basically he's taken from Jenny Randall's book Sky Crash, but like it looks like some type of intelligence operation, psychological warfare thing, or just like experiment, and everything lines up to it being like that. Rendlesham. And Dunning doesn't get into any of that because all of these skeptics refuse to touch anything that has to do with Uncle Sam or anything
Yeah,
spooky.
that's an interesting point. Yeah. They always try to explain shit with like science, and it's so flimsy.
Mhm.
And then it's like, well, have you considered like that this is a government operation? They won't fucking go there.
Exactly. And there's a thing later, the most baffling part of the documentary to me was where Dunning says that he has a whole segment about how the people say that UFO sightings can be explained by secret military aircraft, and that's not true. And he literally says because secret military aircraft can't leave the confines of whatever fucking base they're on, like Area 51 or something, which is not true. Like,
I don't believe that at all.
They fly all like it. The U-2.
How would you test the fucking plane?
Right. Like the
ridiculous.
U-2 has to like cover the entire state of Nevada just to make a turn.
Right.
Like it's going so fast. This shit is like what baffling that he would say that. But yeah, they just don't
It's
touch.
low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
It's also because conspiratorial thinking is dangerous, and they don't like that. They all think that like all conspiracies are equally ridiculous, even though there's tons of documented conspiracies. And it's almost like ideological skepticism, and the reflex to poo-poo all conspiracy theories categorically is actually an affront to critical thinking and actual good skepticism, and mostly serves an officialdom reinforcement function.
Right. Well, yeah. It's once these people become celebrities, or they think they're celebrities. So
they have a brand. I mean, that's the other thing. Is that they can never really admit they're wrong if you're a skeptic by brand. Like,
right.
Yeah. Like I've heard that. Like even Mick, somebody told me that Mick West has his own personal thoughts about some of these things that don't gel with his brand, and he doesn't talk about them. But that was just anecdotal. But
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I think there's like this. I think there's like this mental disconnect where a lot of people like can't admit, which is so like fundamental. It's so ironic because of like the iconography of it. But there's a lot of fucking people who really can't admit that they want to believe. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It's like, even though it's on the fucking X-Files poster, I want to believe, they won't, like, they can't kind of fucking get over that fucking hurdle in their mind.
That's kind of what I was saying with the Patterson-Gimlin film thing. Like, it's grown up. Like, it's the adult thing to do is not to believe, to not believe.
Right.
Like the people on that podcast that I was arguing with about the Patterson film, they kept bringing up everybody's priors. But I have prior assumptions about it, and I want it to be real or whatever. And first of all, yeah, I did always think it was real. But I don't really, I have no stake in this. Like, I don't really want anything. Like, if anything, if there really is a Bigfoot cover up, like people have talked about, I'm for it, because if Bigfoot's out there, which I think it is, and it's being covered up, I think that's good, because if some body of officialdom says that Bigfoot's real, the next question is, what do we do about it?
Right.
And that doesn't have a happy ending.
And once, if Bigfoot was announced as real, then people really would try and go get one. It would become a fucking thing, and they would. So
and it would be it would be. Yeah, I mean, one of the other
human nature.
One of the other interesting.
Better,
no, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's better. It's better to keep Bigfoot in the deep background, because for its own protection, in a sense. The easiest way to protect this fucking thing is not to tell anybody about it.
Right.
Telling people about it and then trying to protect it after the fact is going to be a fucking disaster.
Right.
It's not gonna work.
It's also interesting that this wasn't a super thorough poll, but there was a poll done a while back about belief in Bigfoot, and it was very low. It was something like 10-11% across all generations, like boomers to Gen Zs, 10-11% belief, which is fascinating, because ghosts and UFOs is half the country, both of them. But Bigfoot is so much lower, and it's really interesting that I don't know if people are scared to believe in Bigfoot. I do think it is pretty disruptive, to various, scientific bodies in general, haven't denied it all this time, and the evidence is right there, to where we come from, pretty fundamental concern for, I don't know, religions and everything else. It's just, it is a pretty disruptive thing that I think would be, I don't know, I don't know. The government saying that UFOs are real, to the extent that they hasn't really changed anything. They're still going to show up. We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can really do about it. But I think if they did it with Bigfoot, there's real stakes there. And
because you can't. Because if Bigfoot's like a flesh and blood animal, for in some instances, let's say, then it's the UFOs occupy the sky. They're like the shit that's down in the ocean. You can't really kind of fucking get your hands on it. And ghosts are the same way, but in a different sort of sense. They occupy some other dimensional shit that you can't. But a Bigfoot's if it's a real thing, it's an actual thing that's roaming the earth alongside us, which is way different than an interdimensional ghost or UFO that's up in the sky that you generally can't,
Yeah, there's no leaps in logic that have to be made to pair a weird world, basically. And I don't know.
But what I was saying earlier, just to circle back to this, is the idea that people, it's not just, it's even the people who do want to believe, they can't kind of just come to grips with am I they can't acknowledge, in a sense, that part of the motivation of all this is they want to believe it. It's they immediately reject that. It's look, if you really like a lot of this because you want to believe it, right? It's no. It's not like that. But it's yes, we do. We all want to believe that this is possible.
The one, and I have I used to think a lot of stuff was real that I don't now. I have no problem I've kind of accepted that Loch Ness Monster's probably not real.
I was just gonna say, dude, that was my go-to. Yeah, Loch Ness Monster. Look, it's not.
I think we have the technology.
Fantastic.
I think we have the technology to find that now, and it's
nothing fantastic. It's
maybe it's a good ghost dinosaur, but I don't think it's an actual animal, and I can admit that to myself. So I would do the same thing to Bigfoot if I had a reason to, but I don't. I was thinking about this recently. The I Want to Believe poster. I don't know it's interesting that Mulder is those are Billy Meyer photos on the I Want to Believe poster. I like that little extra bit of meta thing, because he would know that. He would know those are fake UFOs. Still wants to believe, but like I don't really feel that way, to be honest. Like,
What's that?
like I don't like the want parts of this. Like I don't really understand because I do want the world to be wonderful and whatnot, but like I'm operating on like what I know and read and seen.
Yeah.
Like I don't really have I think I know and have seen enough to not have to want anything anymore. I just, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. No, I know what you mean. I think, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think you reach a certain sort of enlightenment of this when you get to like where it's like you move beyond the I want to believe and you get to like I would like for it to be. I would like to believe, but I need to see. I'm in it now. I'm in the fucking thing, and let's see what it is.
All right. The thing I do believe is that people do, and you probably always have seen weird, unexplained shit that can't really be accounted for. I don't think that's really up for debate, but like I don't really know much more than that. But I think it's a reality that people do see weird stuff, including myself, and I just have accepted that. I don't really. My beliefs keep changing about what that is because, as they should, I think.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Belief is a very loaded word.
Right. Yeah. I think. Yeah, the belief thing for me, it's like it's no longer a belief, like it's reality. Like these things do happen to people sometimes.
Yes.
And I just accepting that is like a completely different thing than like even my like mom and dad. Like I've updated them on my UFO. They probably know more about UFOs than most UFO people, like people who are interested in it, because I've just been telling them about stuff and they've cataloged. Like the first time I found out about Glenn Dennis, the mortician at Area 51, I was so excited about that, and I've come so far since then.
Yeah.
So they like know all these names and stuff, and like I don't know. I just it's like I said, big learning curve in the subject matter. Where it took a long time to get to where I am now, where I like have no real I don't know, it's hard for a lot of the time. I have a lot of conflicting feelings about having spent so much of my young life like reading and just pursuing this type of stuff, because it's not like I'd probably have something resembling a career if I didn't, or if I didn't like see a bunch of stuff for a few years in 2017, 2020. But I'm I don't know, I'm more at peace with it than I've ever been. And
so you have mixed feelings about going down the rabbit hole, in a sense.
Yeah.
Or being pulled down the rabbit hole if you were experiencing something.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What were you seeing? Like UFOs on a regular basis?
So what happened was, this might take a while, by the way. It's a saga. Right. But I'll stick to the important stuff. It was July 2017. Come home from my friend's house. We were watching Dragon Ball, and my phone was dead because I never bought a phone charger for my car. And I was just looking at the stars, smoking a cigarette before I went inside and went to bed. And I saw a star that looked like it was moving, but like not like a twinkling star. It looks like it's moving, like it was moving in a sort of in a small part of the sky. It was just like jittering. And I was living with my folks at the time, and I was so excited. I called my mom, even though she was sleeping, and told her to bring the binoculars out because I can't take my eyes off it. I'm tracking this thing. And she does, and she sees it too, and she goes back to bed. But I stay out, keep watching it, and there's just more stuff started happening. There was this light that sort of came from the east that was like bright gold and was just sort of like, it was like if you were like something was squiggling bright gold in the sky in a tiny little spot, and then it just completely disappeared after it was like manifested. And then that just sort of drifted through the sky. I'm taking notes this whole time too, and I still have those. Then like it got to like 4:30 a.m. and I think I see a light through the trees in my backyard, and I go through the trees, and back there is just, it used to be a big field, but it's just like undeveloped land at that point. It's just dirt, foundations for houses, one stretch of road, and then just like dirt. And I'm looking for it in the direction I thought it was, but I can't find it. And I kind of give up, but I'm still looking in that direction, but I'm walking back toward my house on this like road that isn't lit whatsoever. And I turn my head and I see like an army of like thousands of little red and green, like Christmas light size lights that are like all scattered out to the east, to my right, that are moving to the they're to the west, moving east, and across this just black field, and they are just like this fast, like just creeping, like so slow. And they were all parallel to the ground, moving that speed. And I was so fucking scared, dude. This is the only thing in those years that actually scared me. I ran inside and like cried in my bathroom. And I got excited the next day because I realized that like I could write a great report and send it to Bill, the MUFON director. But then I started having these second thoughts, like, but they're not really UFOs, kind of. they kind of are. But,
it was interesting.
And I expected it to just be a one night thing, but it just fucking never stopped. And the a few nights later, I think I called my friend Miranda to come over, and because another thing that would happen at this time was if it was like a clear night, the entire night sky sometimes would just have these little sparkles. Like there would just be little pops of light, colored white, like all these different colors, and the entire sky would just be like sparkling. And we just sit in my driveway and like hold hands and watch it because it was so pretty. And this is one of the few things I actually have a video of, and I love watching it because it's just beautiful. It could be an atmospheric thing, but like I haven't been able to find what that would be. But so then that same night, the first night we're out there watching the sky sparkle, there's these flashes of color changing lightning to the fucking southeast or southwest. And it seemed to be coming from the ground, but every flash would be a different color. And then it just went away after a couple hours. And the next night it came back, but it was like all red. And then it didn't go away. So at like 1 a.m., I'm like, fuck, I got to go find it. So I drive like to middle of nowhere, fucking Michigan, like the Wajack area. And I'm getting pretty close. And I run into two other people who are out there sitting at a stop sign waiting for the next flash so they knew which way to go too. And I talked to them and we split up and we...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. See, okay, yeah, because as you're telling this story, I'm like...
It sounds crazy.
Anybody is... Well, I don't want to say crazy, but it just sounds kind of like, all right, well, who else... Like, is anyone else seeing this thing? So, okay, so now, okay, all right, you go ahead.
And we split up. We were all so excited. Didn't exchange names and numbers or anything. But we split up, and I'm pretty sure I was pretty fucking close. But this, it got more and more rural, and there's less places to turn.
Right.
And the flashes became less frequent, and then fog rolled in, and it looked like it was coming from all around me at that point. So I had to get out of the fog to reorient myself, and by that time the sun was coming up and the flashes stopped.
Jesus.
And I realized that I had basically no gas, my phone was dead, I had no charger, and I had no idea where I was.
Oh, no.
Thankfully found a gas station. The person at the gas station said they saw it too. And I went home. It's like 6 a.m. and I get the maps out of the basement and I mark where I thought I was. And I was like determined I was going to fucking find where it was coming from. I felt like I was close. Never showed up again.
Oh, man.
But I guess the most dramatic, the proper UFO I saw was I saw a black triangle.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
On September 14, 2017. I was coming home from work at like midnight, 12:45, and another fucking star was moving. It was brighter than it should be. It was moving more than a twinkling star does, and it started moving more. I pull over into the church parking lot across my elementary school. Great views of the sky in most directions, and it just swoops down out of the sky, and like within a few seconds is like right over the church, and it's like the fucking black triangle UFO that people talk about.
Yeah.
And it just cruised right over the church, like, I don't know, 200-ish feet above the ground, and then across the street, and I just watched it till I couldn't see it anymore. And I don't know, there's a lot of other stuff too, but like,
wow. All right.
It made me a crazy person. Like, I was looking at the sky every single night, like lifestyle habits gone.
Okay.
Lost all my social skills. Like, it was all I could think about. Like, there's one day we did family photos outdoors, and like my mom was really embarrassed because I just kept fucking looking at the sky, and the photographer told me not to. But yeah, it was affected my life like quite a bit. But I'm better now.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, people can kind of go fly off like that fucking movie there, the Spielberg movie where the guy makes it out of the
yeah. It
really is true.
It do be like that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I always also see, and I've seen it over the years because I've seen people kind of get mixed up in this, and it's like of varying stripes of different people, from normal people to media people and sort of like academic people and all different, and they get mixed up in it. And I always say, like, if you get too deep into the circus, eventually you become one of the clowns. And it's like that's what happens. Like, they become part of the circus, and they can't get out of it. You know, so it's like, all right, now they're a part of the scene, and they lose all perspective because they're no longer an observer of what's going on. They're an active participant in the circus. Yeah,
you really got to have other interests too. You got to be able to be a normal person and talk to people like a normal person.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you were having these experiences, did you ever try? I asked a guest this once who had a UFO sighting, and they like ignorantly were like, "Why the fuck would I do that?" But I feel like maybe you would be sharp enough to try this. But did you ever try to communicate with whatever this was that you were experiencing? Even mentally or anyhow?
There's only one of the types of things I saw that I tried to, because there was this one at the beginning of all this, my sort of like this thing I kept seeing, but like it was so evasive. It was like my white whale kind of. I have one of the only other good videos I have is of this too, but it was just this sort of meandering pulse that like way up in the sky that was just like, it moved on its own accord. It didn't move like a satellite. It sort of pulsed in infrequent or flashed in infrequent ways. And then it would just sort of it would stop, or you could see it like sort of dart off. And that's the one I tried to communicate with because I was really, really lonely. That was the only thing that kept showing up regularly. But yeah, I didn't try to I didn't try to do CE5 or anything though.
Yeah, I don't mean like flashing flashlights or anything, but I guess just kind of like, I suppose in a sense, like if there was some kind of connection there, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I know you're watching. I know, I can see you, or something kind of like that.
That's exactly what it was. Cause it seemed to have it would have a sort of loose schedule where it would, I guess, like every 2-3 weeks, it would kind of change behavior. But for a while I was coming home from work at like 2:45 a.m. and I could rely on it being vaguely to like the north of my driveway up in the sky. And it would show up fairly regularly in different places, but like I could pull in and rely on it being there for a few weeks. So that was nice. Like I said, very lonely time, but like I very much appreciated that one because I don't know. It was, like I said, pretty. I hope that I hope it knows how much I appreciated it.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely what you're describing is not like aliens from another planet.
No, it's just
like I hate to disappoint anyone listening. It's like
it's pulsing light that showed up sometimes.
I think it's like some kind of otherworldly intelligence that can just manifest itself in different ways, and
Yeah.
maybe you have a hand in how you interpret it from your own mindset.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day, because I don't know why I never had this thought before. That I don't know if other people do this, but like balls of light, like that, I would consider that kind of a ball of light. Is there a distinction that's drawn between balls of light and like proper physical looking UFOs? Like,
What do you mean?
like, are they all like considered to be UFOs, or like, are they considered to be different phenomena to some people? Like,
I'm sure everyone has their own take on it. I mean,
Sure.
I look at UFOs as sort of like like clouds, or like different shapes. There's different kinds of clouds.
Oh, that's great.
But we don't really know what. Oh yeah, you're a big cloud.
I'm a big cloud guy. That like became my new, once everything stopped happening in 2020. That was my new thing. Was that I got obsessed with clouds.
Yeah, so that's how I see UFOs. Where it's like back.
That's a great way of, yeah.
Because I imagine, like, back in the day, they didn't understand how the fuck, like even I don't know how the fuck clouds work, dude. Like, I would have to go online and look it up and fucking know, how clouds work and how there's different types of clouds. So I think it's like that with UFOs. There's different types of UFOs, which also inherently helps with the whole, like, there could be all these different explanations for what they are.
That's a great way of looking at it. And it's also fitting because there are still new types of clouds being created, like, or creating themselves, which happens with the UFO thing too. That's a great way of looking at it. I like that. Yeah.
So eventually we'll maybe figure out what the new clouds are, but they're up there with the other clouds.
Yeah.
I love the UFO mystery. It's
I do too.
It's I don't want to be too negative. Yeah, it's a bummer what it's kind of become nowadays, but I always long for that sort of like old timey, more like, the old like 80s style kind of. I came in right towards the end of it when the millennium turned.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would love to see a proper like flying saucer, like an actual silver disc.
Yeah,
that would be so
great.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever had any experiences?
No, I've never seen a UFO. No.
Anything else weird?
Just a couple of like odd ghost stories that I'll tell you some other time. I've told them on the show. I think people have heard them a million times. So,
gotcha.
So what do you got going on? So you don't have a website or
nope,
or you don't have a blog. You're not necessarily working on a book. Maybe you are. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy that you just had me on the show. I got nothing going.
I know, it's pretty remarkable.
Just a normal guy.
You got the t-shirts.
I got the t-shirts. I do like that.
Where'd this come from? What inspired you to do this?
Well, I found out that I remember, like, it's 8 years ago or something, I found out that fabric paint existed, and I just started playing around with it, and it became just like a nice hobby. And great hobby to have during COVID, coming back from like work, because I was an essential worker, even though I worked at Insomnia Cookies, and then just coming home, doing like a mindless, methodical task, like painting t-shirts, and then being able to sell it. It was a great COVID hobby. And then I've always been frustrated with the state of sort of paranormal merch.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to wear any of it. A lot of it kind of sucks.
Yeah. I like the retro style stuff that you're doing.
There's some great old ones, and that's kind of what made me, like, I saw the photo of the 1989 MUFON Symposium shirt, and I wanted it really bad, but there's not available anywhere. And if it was, it'd probably be $200. So I just reverse engineered it with free fonts, and like I found the images that it was made up of and touched some of them up with like an illustrating app, and did some little tweaks to the resolution to make it look good on a t-shirt, to be sure it'd look good on a t-shirt, and then I wanted it, so I made it.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like the paranormal just any fringe communities have been what's the word? Underserviced in the t-shirt department.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from.
Well, they're cool as hell, and people can find those at bwp.threadless.com. It's they're really cool. I really enjoy them. I haven't, I'll admit it, I haven't bought any yet, but I have them on my sort of wish list. I'm one of those people
I really like the SITU ones, the Society for the Investigation of the Unexplained ones.
The one I highlighted the other week, I liked a lot. And I think the MUFON one you mentioned is one of my favorites too. And you made a Friedman one recently from the Stan Friedman FBI file.
Yeah, I love that. My latest is I got Jeff the Talking Mongoose's self-portrait, where he, like, the Irving family, like, had Jeff, like, they left out a pencil and paper and he drew himself, and it's just this squiggle, and he says that's his head. And it rocks. I do have some that are like very hard, like not very accessible to most people. But I refuse to compromise. I only make stuff that I would wear myself, and I am okay with not making a ton of money. Or like my Dottleston messages one, also not accessible whatsoever to like most people, even in Paranormal.
You have some super esoteric ones on there that I'm like, what the hell is he talking of? What does that even mean? And I'm like, it means something. He knows.
I like him. It's like it's mostly for me.
But you have fans who like the shit you're doing. It's cool. Have you? I hate to even ask, but like, I suppose, I guess if you sell 1 million T-shirts, maybe MUFON might be like, hey, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, I hope they don't come after you to fucking get the shirt themselves. Is that the one with the White House and is there a White House in that?
Yeah.
I love that one. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's got like the White House and has a big gray alien head and a helicopter.
It's a great amalgamation of like crazy shit.
But then it has on the back, it has the sort of like just crest, like this American flag colored crest, and then it's a little bit of his torn over, and there's a UFO flying out of it.
Jesus. All right, so bwp.threadless.com is the website. I want to ask you one more thing. You said these things stopped like in 2020. Do you have any like idea, theory, thoughts on why it was like this little window of time that you had these experiences?
Nope. It seems like, based on things I've read, that sometimes things start happening in a localized place and then they stop. I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I know Tenney was investigating a bunch of what he calls Forminaut sightings at the time, which the sailors of Form, were just kind of like not necessarily humanoids, but just like weird fucking
shapes.
Yeah, things that people saw. A lot of them like independently of each other, but describing the same thing. They all have their own kind of subjective interpretation of what they saw, and some of them really fucking weird. But I didn't know this until I heard Tenney talk about it on Zach Seichi's now defunct show Project Human, and that made me so happy. But I was always looking up, so I didn't look at the ground. But people were seeing a lot of weird shit those years.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. So we plugged the T-shirts. Do you have any thoughts about like starting a blog, a podcast, anything like that? Or
I realize that I do have to. I got a lot of takes on things.
Yeah, I know what you mean, dude. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's kind of why I came back to podcasting, because it was like I didn't really have an outlet beyond social media, and you can't really do it right, like on Twitter or even on Facebook, where you can write a little longer, but still, It's like, we've talked for almost 2 hours tonight. This is like where you can unleash the hot takes.
Yeah,
perfect for.
I've got something I'm working on that could go to Getting Spooked. Could end up on Tanner's blog, Getting Spooked, but maybe not. It remains to be seen. But I'm also going to be doing a research project with Tanner, Emily Reed, and Mark Pilkington, mapping influence networks in UFO world today.
Oh, interesting.
influencers to Silicon Valley people to politicians to
that'd be
so-called
great.
UFO whistleblowers, that kind of stuff.
Like a flow chart?
Yeah, like there was a guy, Mark Lombardi, who used to do this with like sort of conspiracy stuff, like with BCCI and the Bush family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you just have these huge, beautiful flow charts.
That'd be great.
Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
We're going to be doing it on Mark's. If anybody else wants to do something like this ever, Mark said that there's a website called Miro, Miro, that he uses to do stuff for tabletop role-playing games. It's just like a thing where you can just keep building and building and building.
Interesting. All right.
And it's really nice. I highly recommend using it.
Check it out. Now, as the creator of like the worst named paranormal website brand show, Binnall of America, I'm going to give you some advice, some terrible advice. This is the name of your project here. This is your brand, the Pleasure Center. The Pleasure Center. You'll force these people to come up to pronounce your name right, and otherwise confuse them also, because they'll be like, what does that mean? I don't get what you're meaning. It's like, it's the Pleasure Center, bitch. It's the Pleasure Center. It's all your paranormal needs or whatever.
That is really good. I like that a lot. People think I'm lying when I say it's pronounced like that, but it's what it is. It got Americanized a long time ago, and it means in the French, like the pleasurer or one who pleases.
Oh, there you
go. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great thing to have going through life.
What does Binnall mean?
I have no idea.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know much about my heritage or whatever. So they just put me here, man. They just put me here. Well, Bradley, I've had a lot of fun, man. I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to chat here on Binnall of America. Folks can find you over on the Twitter, or X as they call it now, under B Plaisier. So BPLEASIES. And bwp.threadless.com is the website. So I had a blast, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you again. Truly an honor.